Are you a foreign national who isn't involved in the international trades of goods and services? Do you happen to own a business or even a majority ownership in a business here in the United States? And do you have any interest in being able to stay work here in the United States for a long period of time? If any of these questions are true, you may qualify for the International Treaty Trader Visa, also known as the E-1 visa. In order to qualify for this particular type of visa, the foreign national must meet several requirements. First of all, a foreign national must be the 50% owner of a business or have more than 50%. The idea is that this is a foreign-owned entity. Two, the foreign national must have a nationality where there's a treaty between the United States and their country. That individuals have more than one country, doesn't really matter. What really the focus is if the goods and services are coming into or out of the United States to their country, and that country has a treaty between the United States and the US. This list of countries can be found online by simply Googling US State Department treaty countries. In it, you'll find a list of countries that have already a treaty between the United States and themselves. It can be surprising to foreign nationals that certain countries are found on there, but others are not. For instance, Brazil is not a country found on this list, while Argentina is. India is not found on this list, while Pakistan is. Taiwan is found on this list, but China is not. Therefore, it is important to research whether or not there's already a treaty between the United States and their home country in order to figure out, is this a viable option? Another thing that immigration is looking towards when it comes to how foreign nationals can meet this type of visa includes things such as volume. Immigration wants to see that there's consistent volume, whether it's consistent volume over a short period of time, let's say 2, 3, 4 months, over an entire year. It doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not there's a reason that there's products and services are being imported and exported into the United States during that particular period of time. One example is somebody who's involved in produce. A person in Mexico who is exporting produce into the United States may only have a season, a number of months in which that produce is grown. And therefore, there's a reason that there's only a certain amount of product being imported into the United States. Another thing that immigration is looking towards is the value of the products. The fact of the matter is you can have consistent products entering the United States, but they must have some type of tangential value. That is more than $1,000, more than $2,000. We're looking at an increasing amount of products or services being imported into the United States, but that have consistently growing amounts of value. For instance, if you're bringing in $5,000 worth of products that you're going to be selling to the GMC, a multivitamin distribution company, well, that's fine. But what immigration wants to know that you're increasing the amount month over month, quarter by quarter, just so that they know, okay, this could be a consistent business that's bringing in product or services that has a tangential value that could ultimately end up employing U.S. citizens here in the United States. Now, the products are actually being brought into the United States or even being exported from the United States must have consistent value. That is, the unit price can be small. You can certainly sell products or services that at a per unit price are in the cents. That is 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, thereon and thereforth. But what we're looking at is in the aggregate, does this product have real value? So if you're selling 1 million widgets that are valued at 10 cents, you still have a product that's worth $100,000 in the aggregate. So what immigration is looking for is that whatever is being imported, exported, while it might have a small unit price value, in total, it has real substantial value. And the reason that you're looking for real substantial value is the idea for issuing a visa is so that the foreign national is bringing in goods and services into or outside the United States and is having some type of positive net effect on the U.S. economy, And the only way to achieve this effect is by doing something that has substantial value, not nominal or negligible value. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, you don't qualify for this particular type of visa because the product that you're purchasing is manufactured in a different country than from the country that you have nationality in. For instance, let's say you are a Spanish national currently in America and owning at least 50% of a business. You buy your product from a Spanish company, but the product itself is manufactured in China. That's irrelevant. The reason is that title, that is ownership, legal ownership of that product, originates with that Spanish company and is transferred to you. That it just happens to be that the product itself is manufactured in China. Therefore, because title's passing from a Spanish company to you, a Spanish national owning at least 50% of a business here in the United States, then that's sufficient for E-1 treaty trader purposes. There are numerous benefits for this particular type of visa. First of all, most people will obtain the visa for 4 years. That is, with this visa, you can live and work in the United States. You can obtain a social security number, you can obtain a driver's license, you can establish credit history. But there's no requirement that you stay here in the United States for any particular length of time or any time at all. 2, you can renew this visa every 4 years. The visa is good for the life of the business. So long as the business maintains trade, you can renew this visa every 4 years. There's no limitation. 3, you can bring your spouse and your children under age 21 with you to the United States. They can obtain a driver's license. Your spouse can obtain work permission. They can stay here so long as you maintain your visa yourself. And then one of the best things about this particular type of visa is that there's no requirement to have U.S. employees. While it certainly is helpful in the renewal process, it's not an actual requirement. This stands in stark contrast to the E-2 treaty investor visa, where immigration is looking to see how many employees you have in the United States. And finally, there is a possibility of obtaining a green card through this particular process. Now, rather than getting into that right now, I'd be very happy to talk to you about that later on. So to recap, if you are a foreign national who owns a business that's at least 50% owned by you, that's involved in international trade, that has volume and that has value, and that you're interested in living and working in the United States and potentially obtaining a green card sometime in the future, then please give us a call. We'd be happy to schedule time to speak to you, develop a strategy, and figure out a way for you to obtain this particular type of visa. We look forward to talking to you very soon.